Hello gamers all over the world, I'm Etano Circus, and today on this episode of Welcome to Littlewargame, we're going to start from the very beginning, because it's a very good place to start. Yeah. What I mean by that is this. I was looking over in the Wikipedia for the game. If you haven't checked it out, you should. It's filled with good information. And I couldn't help but notice that the beginners section, or beginner's guide as it was, I'm not going to say lacking, but I didn't get the sense that it would be that helpful to newer players. So I decided that this episode of Welcome to Littlewargame is going to be dedicated to openings. And you're going to get something out of this, whether you want to or not, whether you're new or you're not. And with that in mind, we're now going to dive into some replays. We're going to start with the most macro or economy focused, and we're going to go down to the grittiest of aggression and cheeses. So, we load the replay. Ding! Look at all these replays. We're going to go through all of these very quickly. So, be prepared. Ding! Alright, here we go. This first, did I click it? Oh, there we go. Ding! This first replay, we're going to speed it up to ×2, is going to be 6 expansion with Watchtower. 6 expansion as of version 1.81 is the single most economic opening you can possibly have in the entirety of the game. Zhao crunched numbers on the forums back when it came out. We figured out that it was the most economical build by like 50 to 100 gold. It's amazing. So here's what you do. When you go with a 6 expand, at 36 you pull a man, start over a castle, and then bam, your economy grows. I was actually a little delinquent. Pulled the guy over at 42. But you'll see at about 46 seconds. There we go. Bam. You'll have 300 gold. You go over here, you start a castle. Ding! Now, you're going to continue to make workers and crank them out while we wait for this to finish. It's very important when you're doing this build, because you're going for economy, that you make sure that you just keep rallying out the workers, because the workers provide income. Income is a good thing. Now, at about 145, maybe around 150, this guy right here is going to finish making that castle. When that happens, you will not make any more workers out of this castle, because he has an important job to do. He has to, here, we'll hurry up so he's done. He has to go ahead and build a watchtower at your base right here. Something like here, or here, or here, or here. The point of this watchtower is this. It's very important that you take the guy who has finished building this castle to build this watchtower. And here's why I say this. The earliest non-proxied aggression that you can face that's in the current meta is about 2 minutes 45 seconds. What we're going to see is that if you pull this worker as he finishes this castle, of course we're always going to be diligent in starting our workers up on time when we have the money. Oh, bam! Look at that. Look at that. Bam. 9 workers. Here's a good benchmark. If you have about 10 workers at around, I'd say the 240 mark, you're pretty good. This isn't scouting, so there's no scouting going on, so yeah, we're good. Now notice, 245 is the earliest in current meta that a non-proxy soldier or rifleman is going to pop out. Look at this. He's about to show up in 2 seconds. 1 second. Oh, damn, look at that. Oh, man, it's like there's a watchtower here or something. Now, that's going to keep you safe against a lot of aggression. This replay is going to end shortly. Here's the important thing to notice. I believe it's going to end now. No? Oh, okay. Here's the important thing to notice. Yeah, way to go, Etano Circus. You make the replay, but you still don't know when it ends. At about, when you go for this 6 expansion, and you put down this tower, which should start around 155 or 150, finish around 245, then about 3 minutes, 255, is the point at which you'll realize that, look, you're continuously making workers, but you can not, I mean, you can keep making workers, but look how fast your money is going up because of how many workers you have. So here's another important point when you're doing any build. Look at this. You have 10 workers on one base. Instead of rallying them to that base, you rally them to your new base. Now, at this point, look how much gold you have. At around the 2 minute 55 second, 250 mark, you need to make a decision when you're going six expansion. Are you going to be making barracks? Because if so, you need to throw down a house at around 255. With continuous worker production, you would then be able to make a barracks at around 35 seconds later, around 330, without any interruption whatsoever. Are you going for really heavy forges? If so, you can either choose to put the forges down first at around that same time, after saving up a little money, about I'd say about 320 or so. Or if you want to make barracks and then forges, you can put barracks and then forges around 515. Or you can say, oh, I want to go dragons, and then take 250 gold, turn this into a fortress, crank out some dragons layers, and go. But that's not important right now. We don't care about that because we're in the beginning, which is the good and best place to start. Because if you don't have a solid foundation, then it doesn't really matter what your plan is. And that's the truth. Alright, so there we go for 6 expansion, the most economical. You can do, if you scout, I would say if you send out a scout at around the 1 minute mark, and you find out that your opponent over here, Bing, is going castle first as well, you'd actually be scouting over here. Lol, what a fail. If you find out he's also going for a castle first, you can actually skip this watchtower, and that will give you a bit of a corner cut. But you don't worry about that. Just don't. Just for now, if you don't know much about the scouting or the timings or things like this, just remember, about 36, 38 seconds, pull a worker. Make a castle. Should start around 46 seconds. Should finish around a minute 46 or so. Continue to crank out workers. When this castle is finished, build a watchtower. If you do it all right, this watchtower will finish at around 245. Alright, that's enough. That's our most economical opening. Now we move on to something with a bit more aggression. So we're going to load another replay. We're going to go through one barracks expand, which is pretty common these days. I have two. I have one barracks expand with soldiers, one barracks expand with riflemen. But there's actually no functional difference between them. The build is the same. You send the workers over, build things from your castle. Now watch this. At about 27 seconds, I think it is exactly 27 seconds actually, you will be able to make a house. Now you can make a house anytime you want, but if you finish before 27 seconds, if you start your house before 27 seconds, you actually will not be able to keep continuous worker production. So look, 29, 30, it's a little late, but 29 seconds you start that house, and then that means that about a minute 4, sometime between a minute 3 and a minute 8, you'll be able to build your barracks. Now here's the good thing of going one barracks expansion. If you noticed, when you go castle first, you're focusing on economy, but what that means is that you're sitting back, and your opponent has complete map control. You don't know, you have very little scouting information, you don't exactly know what they're doing, and you just kind of have to wing it and be very tight on your openings. If you're, I'm speaking to you now, very new person. If you want to do something that will combine having a bit of economy so you can spend more money and make more things with, you want to go ahead and have some aggression and maybe get some scouting and learn some of those things, this is a good way to go. Now, there's a large debate in the forums and among the player base. Here, we're going to speed it to ×3 because all that's going to happen is this barracks is going to finish, and we're going to continue to make workers, we're going to continue to make units until we decide to start looking for an expansion around 3 minutes. Now, here's the important thing. We're going to slow it down because we're about 2 minute mark. There's an argument in the forums and among the player base. Should you go for soldiers or should you go for riflemen? In general, if you think your opponent is going to be either laid back, like they go castle first, or you think that you have good micro, you can control these units very, very well, so that you'll be able to use your rifleman numbers to beat soldiers, then go rifleman. If, however, you want to be more defensive, or if you're looking to bust down through your opponent's base, or you suspect that your opponent's going to do something a little cheesier, like make really aggressive watchtowers and so forth, then you would go for a soldier. I'm not convinced that one is strictly better than the other. I'm really not. Now notice this. Notice how there's 10 workers and about we're about 245 now. There's 10 workers in this gold mine, yet there's still another worker being made. What you're going to do is after this worker, you're not going to make any more workers for a while. You're going to drag one of these workers here around 250, 255, and pull him over this way. Now what you're going to notice here, this barracks is going to keep making units, but look, you're not making another worker because you have 10 workers now here. That means that 3 minutes, you're going to be able to drop down this I said watchtower. Wow, fail. You're going to be able to drop a castle down. Now, while keeping continuous unit production. Seems pretty good. Then, of course, once you get your 60 gold back again, you're going to make another worker, except you're going to send this worker out over here to your new base. Because this base is already filled up with 10 workers, there's no point in sending over more. If we were in-game, you'd be able to see that it says 3 of 3, 100% efficiency. So you continue to make workers, you continue to make riflemen. Now, you might be worried about, oh no, it's Anno Circus. What's going to happen when I get this? Don't I need to make a house? No, you actually don't need to make a house. Castles provide 10 supply. So watch this. It's going to time out really nicely. This rifleman's going to pop out. We're going to be at 20 of 20. See? 20 of 20. Man, I'm good. And right before it looks like this worker's going to pop out, we're going to go to 20 of 30 because our castle's done. Bam. It's done. Zing. Now, this is about the point around 4:15 when you have all of your options again. 4:15, 4:30. I think I stopped this particular one at 4:30. But now is when you have your options. You can continuously pump out workers, and you're going to need to saturate this base right here. But look, 4:30, you have 5 units to move out and around the map with. These could be 5 soldiers, 5 riflemen, 4 soldiers and a rifleman, which I personally like. But you know what? Do whatever unit combination makes you feel good. Around 4:30 is when you make your decisions about, do I want more barracks? Do I want catapults? What do I want to build? Now, of course, this is all with continuous unit production. You can choose to go 1 barracks expand and then cut, let's say, after 2 or 3 units, so that you can start workshop, you can start mages, you can start your additional barracks or your forges or whatever you want. The important thing to note about this is that 1 barracks expand, regardless of whether you get soldiers or you get riflemen, is something that allows you to have a bit more map presence. It's not, your economy will not be as good as if you went just for a 6 expand or a sea first or a castle first. You'll hear it called all of those things, but you'll be able to put a little more pressure on, and you'll be able to just be around the map. You'll also be a little bit safer if your opponent does something really aggressive. So, that's that. Now, we're going to cut out. Ding.